Zion's going to debut tonight. What do you think that's going to look like?
I think it's going to be great. People are so excited about his young, dynamic player coming into the league.
People say newspapers buy their ink in barrels. We bought it in carloads, and I think I had to order an extra carload just to deal with Zion.
This is our Zion's beefy boy.
So Zion hadn't even played a game yet, and he's already got a hot dog?
Of course, man.
I got the jersey right whenever Zion got drafted. I haven't worn it until tonight. All the pieces are there. We're just missing Zion.
Zion, the ingredient that's been missing in New Orleans. It's kind of like bam, bam, bam.
Because of his injury, Zion hasn't played in a regular season game yet, but his return has Pelicans fans dreaming bigger than ever before.
Last time we had a championship parade, over 1 million people showed up. I think this one will be even bigger.
New Orleans is always ready to just pop off. We just need a reason, and this is that reason.
But before we get ahead of ourselves with all this title talk, we went to a real New Orleans expert to see if that's even possible.
The first card that we pulled is the Emperor.
Well, what does it mean, though? Are the Pelicans going to win a championship with Zion?
The outlook is really great. And it's a strength that we're going to rally behind as a city.
We need a franchise player that's going to stand up for the city, that's going to embrace it. You know, whenever you fall in love with New Orleans is going to love you back. You know, we love Zion. I think it's mutual, so we're excited. It all starts tonight.
Finally, the hype can be real. For a guy who proclaimed, "Let's dance on draft night," the time has come where he can actually take the dance floor. Zion Williamson, as you see right there with the Let's Dance shirt, makes the most anticipated rookie debut since LeBron James. And he's joined a Pelicans team that's hitting a nice little stride, working their way into playoff contention. And they go up against a Spurs team, not with Timmy Duncan, but they're in a similar position, fighting their way up the standings. It's the first of 3 meetings between the Spurs and Pelicans, but the very first game of Zion's highly anticipated career. We're going an hour strong here on Hoop Streams to get you set for it all right here on Twitter, YouTube, and the ESPN app. And I welcome you into a very excited, anxious environment here in the Smoothie King Center. I'm here with my main guy, Kendrick Perkins.
What's up, Kay?
And we are pleased to be joined with Executive Vice President and President of Basketball Operations for the New Orleans Pelicans, David Griffin. And look, I spoke with Alvin Gentry earlier today, and he said he just can't wait for that ball to tip off so the anticipation of Zion's debut can be over. How are you feeling?
I just want to beat the Spurs. This is the evil empire. Perk, you know this. This is a team that when we were in Cleveland, we had a lot of reverence for. And it's a group from a culture standpoint that's sort of the poster children for what we hope to build someday. This is a really big game for us. They're ahead of us in the standings. We intend to make a run, and we have to do it tonight. Obviously, from a Zion standpoint, I'm happy for him. He worked really, really hard for tonight. Perk, you were just saying, he obviously looks ready. The moment's not going to be too big for him emotionally, so I'm excited for him.
And you know, we've talked a lot about what it's going to look like when he comes back. Obviously, you're going to take a cautious approach. Minutes restriction, how are you defining that tonight? What's the plan for him?
Yeah, I mean, it's not about a number, so it's what it looks like. So he's going to have some measured bursts. He'll have short measured bursts, and our strength coaches and staff will watch him, and those bursts will be shorter probably tonight than most nights, but he'll continue to build in that way. There's not really a number that he has to hit as much as what it needs to look like while he's out there.
So look, Griff, I'm watching Zion, right? And you're right though. Like Cassidy, you have to understand. When you're the opponent, everybody wants to beat the Spurs. Like, you know, it's something about them because it's, you know, their legacy. It's like almost beating
I'm
the
a sideline
Pacers.
reporter. I know a thing or two about popping the Spurs.
Yeah, I know that. I know that, Cass, but I know. But I'm saying
Yes.
in the locker room, it's like, yeah, it don't matter if they kind of at the bottom or not. So, Griff, I'm out here watching Zion warm up, right? And, you know, I was a guy that always struggled with my weight or whatever. But I'm looking at Zion, and I'm like, shoot, I was telling Cassidy, he's chiseled. Like, I hear a lot of speculations all, you know, you watch TV and, you know, all the experts are saying, hey, he need to lose weight and all this, but I don't see it. He's moving well. His body is chiseled. He got me wanting to get back in the gym. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you handle that?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think he's giving him all of the strength he needs to control the torque he generates and naturally generates is a balance, right? So he's going to be muscled.
Yeah.
in order to control all of that, he needs to be. Now, ideally, you'd be a much smaller package because you generate even less torque. But in his case, he is what he is, and he's special the way he is.
Right.
And he's always been productive that way.
I agree.
And I think we've gotten him to a point now where hopefully he can start to find stasis with his body. Because he's still growing, he's eating like he's still growing.
Right.
I think he may have a little growth spurt in there still, maybe another inch. But he's 19. So he'll find stasis as he goes along. When you're big and muscled like that, it takes a while. Blake Griffin's a name that I think of.
Right.
It took Blake a while to figure out exactly what it looks like to control all of that.
Well, originally after his surgery, they said it was going to be 6 to 8 weeks, but obviously we know it took a little bit longer. And you guys were working on what he said, changing a little bit about his game, how he lands, how he's walking even. How much does that have to do with the surgery, and how much does that have to do about his body type and being able to withstand this type of season?
Well,
in the
it had
NBA?
everything to do with the surgery relative to now he's a captive audience.
Yeah.
Right? You have his attention. And he was making such strides in the areas mechanically that we cared about that we felt like it was best just to keep doing it. We were in a situation where if he comes back too soon, it's our fault. If he doesn't come back at all, people would have thought that was fine. Zion was never of that mindset.
Right.
So we didn't want to cut him loose until we felt like we had put him in the best possible position to succeed long term. And I think our staff and his people have him in that place now.
I agree. So look, I gotta ask you this, right, Cass? So
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of John Morant. I've been a huge fan of his since he was in college. And I was one that came out during the draft night, and I was like, you know what? I wouldn't be mad at Griff if he happened to shock the world and take John Morant, because I do feel like in today's game, it's the reason why I'm out the game, because it's a guard-driven league, right? And I think that this guy is a generational talent, in my opinion, because he's a mixture of Rondo, Russell Westbrook with the handles of a Kyrie Irving. I want to ask you this, Griff, and we ain't going to feel no type of way, because obviously you've been around and you've seen Zion working out and stuff like that. But if you had to change back the hands of times of watching John Morant, would you consider drafting him, number one?
We tried to trade to get the second pick, too. We wanted to take them both.
I knew you had something up your sleeve.
Wouldn't have that been nice?
We tried to get them both. They played AAU together in South
Right.
Carolina, and we talked to both of them about the other. So it was exciting to be in a draft situation where you felt like you couldn't possibly lose. In fact, when I took over with the Pelicans, our first scouting meeting, I told everybody, make the case for why we draft Zion. I went into all the issues that you could see coming up with Zion. And everybody looked at me like I was insane. They were like, yeah, but don't you understand? He's Zion.
Yes.
There was no thought in any human's mind that you were taking anybody else. And I think we're all really happy with how this has played out. And hopefully we can start to find ourselves as a team.
No, I agree, Griff, because I believe he's box office. I was telling Cassidy this. I think that, and it's no disrespect to AD, but I think he will be a bigger impact with this organization than Anthony Davis. As far as just, I'm feeling the vibe. Even my Uber driver today, he was like, hey, Perk, hey, baby. Hey, we got Zion today, huh? Your boy, the city ready for it today. We think, and I was just like, dang, the city fired up about it. So
look, and you know a figure too, having been around LeBron James, but look, we're here. We're doing an hour-long show to get ready for this debut. And
so I think his impact was felt even in the beginning of the year, right? So when we won the lottery, season ticket sales went crazy. Right. The first 8 games of our regular season were sold out.
Summer League was
crazy.
So
we sold out the first 8 games of regular season here. Now, they didn't show up when he wasn't playing, but the tickets were sold. Yeah. So the interest has always been there. But what excites me now is that this building will be packed to see our team playing at a radically higher level than we have all year.
Yes.
And Brandon Ingram's an all-star.
Oh, for sure.
And people are now going to be paying attention to that. So I'm really excited for Brandon because he's sort of been doing what he's doing, carrying us the way he has almost an anonymity a little bit, even within his own city. So I'm really happy they're all going to be here to see exactly what he's become as well.
Yeah, it's an exciting night, of course, because of Zion, but it's an exciting time for the Pelicans as you guys are really, really finding your stride. Thank you for starting off our show right as we get ready for this Zion debut, and as you pointed out, a tough game against the Spurs. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Cass. Anything for my man, Perk.
Hey, Griff, you know how we go back. Hey, this is my man right here, Cass.
I know. We appreciate it. Perk, look, this is a big. We're going to take this. Sorry, but thank you. You have a lot to do today, so I appreciate it. Thanks, Griff. So this is, as we mentioned, the most highly anticipated rookie debut since LeBron James.
Right.
Do you remember, your rookie debut, and how that all played out?
Well, look, Cass, I wasn't up there, but you know what I'm saying? I was coming out of high school.
Okay.
Young country boy moving to Boston, the city of champions, a lot of pressure. And I just remember, I don't remember my first NBA game.
It was December 13th. You played only 28 seconds.
That don't count.
No,
that don't count.
Wait,
Look,
it was your second game. 7 points in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you got after it.
That's what I done.
Yes.
And people don't understand, man. I used to get buckets. That's what I used to do.
Let them know.
You don't look, Cass. You don't come to the University of Cash and skip college without getting buckets in high school.
Look, you also got buckets in New Orleans. What's it like to play in this city? What does Zion have?
You know what?
Ahead of him here?
To be honest, besides the winning, and we didn't have Griff at the time, this was one of my favorite. This was my favorite city to play in.
Oh, wow.
Why? Because one, I love to eat, right? Two, the fans are great. The hospitality here is off the chain. People don't even understand that. And I had a great time while I was here. Give him the hook, Perk. I actually started a couple games. I started the first game of the season. I was there I go, Cass. I was in my bag right there. But the fans are great. And like I said on the way here today, just you could feel the energy. These people are ready for this. We was having 8,000 to 10,000 people. But in all due respect, before Zion came, over the last 2 weeks, these fans they've been averaging 16,000 fans a night. The place only hold 18. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be 19 tonight.
Look, they've historically kind of been in the bottom half of attendance, but there's something really exciting to rally around here, and that's Zion Williamson. And look, he's got a lot of pressure on him. Something he's been in the spotlight for a while. But, I think a lot of people have been giving him some advice, but it's really up to him. You said you saw the poise that he walked out with. But Alvin Gentry actually had some interesting advice for him pregame.
It's
take a listen to this.
Alvin, did you have any words of advice? Have you talked to him about tonight?
Yeah, I told him to just try to dunk everything.
He said dunk everything. I know that's what we want.
Man, I love Coach Gentry. He's one of my favorites.
He is. He's over it.
Yeah.
He wants it. I had his game last week. He's over it. So I know he's excited for this debut just like everybody else. 3 people who are very excited for this debut.
Who excited?
Our friends who are up top in the concourse.
Hey, what's happening?
Omar and Shanae.
Look at them.
With the people.
They ready.
What's going up there, guys?
What's going on?
I can barely hear you, Cassidy, because we got all these fans behind us, but we are so excited to be here. I'm Christine Williamson, as she said, no relation to the man of the night, here with Omar and Chiney up in the concourse, holding it down. Are you guys excited for tonight?
I'm very excited. The fans are excited. Everyone's going
crazy.
crazy.
The atmosphere is crazy. I know another guy who's definitely excited about tonight. It's Zion Williamson, of course. He talked to the media yesterday, and here's what he said.
It's been very difficult. If y'all saw me meditating on the sidelines, it's been very difficult, but it's finally here. I finally get to go back out there. A lot of times when I just want to punch a wall or kick chairs because it's frustrating. To not be able to move your body the way you want to, not to make any athletic movements. It's tough, especially since I'm 19 and haven't even played my first NBA game. So it was tough, but I battled through it.
What do you expect the reaction from fans, not only of the Pelicans, but of the NBA to be when you play on Wednesday?
I know the people of New Orleans are going to show a lot of love because that's what they do. But from the outside people, you know, all I can do is just invite the love. If they want to bring it, then bring it.
Are you nervous, or is it just basketball?
It's just basketball. This is what I do. I've been doing it since I was 4. Gonna go out there, have fun, and just be with my teammates.
Zion is an absolute bully in the paint, 23.3 points per game, shooting 71%, and most of those shots going in are going in the paint. Now, we know what he can do to his opponents. We haven't seen him in the regular season, but that's okay because we already know he likes to posterize people, and last week we did something for our first show. We're going to do it again. This time it's a special Zion edition of Sorry to This Man. All right, first up, we got Zion in the Summer League. Pelicans versus the Knicks. He casually snatches the ball from Kevin Knox and then turns around and puts it down.
I mean, not snatching the ball, snatching the life away in one possession.
Poor Kevin Knox. He's had like a bad 2 seasons, and it's just not looking good.
Y'all watch Friday? That was like Debo.
Next up, we take it to his days
Yes,
at
he's
Duke.
ridiculous.
You know what? DeAndre Hunter wanted to get a bucket, but he was not about that. Zion was not about that.
He's not expecting to get blocked. Who would expect to get blocked from there, that distance?
Y'all, this was the wrong sport. That was a volleyball approach. That was a spike and a finish.
All right, back to the Pels. I mean, honestly, he is a highlight reel.
Bench energy.
Now, that's just rough. Like, why jump, though? If it's Zion Williamson, why even jump in the first place? I don't understand why.
Just don't go up with him. Let him do his thing.
Especially today, we need the highlights.
He's going to embarrass you. That's
we just heard from the fans he got springs in his ankles. Y'all keep doing my job for me. It helps.
This is college again.
Oh, I love this
Duke,
one.
He just takes the ball. A windmill.
Yes.
This is a dunk
He's one of the
contest.
few people that just, whenever he's in transition by himself, you're expecting him to do something crazy, and he always delivers.
It's going to happen.
The ball just bounced. He grabbed that, 2 steps, windmill.
How high does he get?
I mean, too high.
The vertical's insane.
Look
Like
at
right
this.
here.
180.
I loved it.
180 dunk.
Is that 180 or 360?
That was a 180.
That really looked like a 360
was
to me.
he facing the? Was he
that
facing
looked
the
like a
basket?
360.
That is a 180. No, it's a 180. He was looking the other way, and he turned.
I wasn't imagining.
Listen, he embarrassed everybody. It doesn't matter
Back to Duke. Back to Duke.
Oh my
Get out of
God.
here. Just get out of here. He doesn't want to see that. He does not want to see
that.
No.
It's just not happening.
Not today.
Not today. Not today.
Not today. Imagine, like, that's what help defenses have to deal with. Like,
And he's not, that guy's not even seeing him.
No, not
Zion
at
is
all.
behind him, and he just puts it down.
should always be on red alert.
Another steal, this time against Army.
Oh, this is great.
Fast break. Ooh.
Look, I love that 1-foot approach. Again, I say this guy is so unreal because it's not basketball. It's like 2 hands down. Volleyball players know this. That's how you get that elevation. But
Oh, I like
I mean,
the
this is what
volleyball.
we're gonna see. Can you wait for this tonight?
I can't wait. I really can't. Now,
gonna be
he
wild.
also apparently changed his landing. So what's that? Is it going to look different? Like, I don't know how you change
Let me
your
tell
landing.
you, he's gonna go out there and he's gonna land the same.
Okay.
All right,
I
you wanted that
That's
360.
it.
You wanted that 360, right, Shanae?
Come
We got
on.
it right
Okay,
here.
is that a 360?
That's a 360.
Yes, it is.
That is a full circle.
The thing is, if he gets the ball in transition, it's always
Yo,
over.
he
It's
is
always going to be fun.
He is
Clemson
eye to eye
had
with
no
the
chance.
rim.
Clemson had
He is
Yes,
eye to
literally.
eye with the rim.
I love his teammate just going
Everybody's
crazy.
hyped.
Who
too.
started
Everybody's
the
hyped
jump
for that.
with on the dunk trend?
I'm not sure.
All right, so of course we haven't seen Zion this whole entire season. You know, he did have a sorry to this man himself. He was actually on the show last week on our Sorry to This Man because your kid was falling asleep during the games. Poor Zion.
He said he was meditating.
He did say he was meditating. I don't know about those meditation practices. I practice meditation myself.
I'm gonna use that line.
I don't think that's how it works. I don't
Here's
think
the
that's
thing.
how.
If he goes off today, it's because he was
He
meditating.
will not be falling asleep tonight. I'm pretty sure of that. You guys,
Yes.
you guys sure of that?
He was resting up for tonight.
Exactly. He had to get ready for tonight. Hello. Cassidy, what's going on down on the court?
Oh, we got a lot going on down here, but I hope Zion is awake for this one. He said he was going to have a hard time.
Right? He can't be sleeping tonight. He
Sleeping
can't be
last
asleep
night, so I
tonight.
hope he got his Z's because everybody is here to see him wide awake. Just want to remind people, you guys are watching Hoop Streams coming to you live on Twitter, YouTube, and the ESPN app. Perk just wandering into the screen here. Look, Zion, he may be the headliner of today, but Brandon Ingram has been holding it down for this Pelicans team, who has been on a tear lately, and they're making their way up the standings. And I spoke with Brandon earlier about his improved play and how much a year has changed for him. Brandon, let's start with the team. You guys have won 11 of your last 16. What's been the difference since that 13-game losing streak?
I think the difference is the sense of urgency we've been bringing on the defensive end. Focused in every single night to let us know every scheme, everything that's going on, and we just try to follow the game plan, and that leads to a rhythm on the offensive end, and it's been good for us.
And it's one-time shooter by Ingram.
Making plays, crosses over, drives in, left-hand shot, dances and falls.
Well, one of your teammates, Zion, he called you a definite all-star. What would it mean to you to be an all-star in your first year with the Pelicans?
It means a lot, and I give all the glory to my teammates that found me the basketball, that put me in good positions to be successful on the basketball floor. And it'll be a blessing and something that I've always looked forward to.
It's a big game for your teammate Zion Williamson. It's his debut. You've been answering questions about when he's going to come back. Is there any advice that you've given? Is one thing you said to him as this build-up has been going on?
If I give him any advice, I think it would just be to let everything flow. Let everything flow. Play your game, and everything will come together. I think we've been playing pretty well, so for his addition, I think he's going to cause a lot of attention, and it's going to make it easier on his teammates, but his teammates are going to make it easier on him. So
I know part of your routine is actually working out a lot with Lonzo, and he's shown a huge growth. What have you noticed about his improvement over the last year?
He's healthy, and he's confident. He's confident in the things that he's doing, and he knows exactly what he does well when he gets on the basketball floor, and that helps out a lot. But he's always been good at it, getting guys involved and being the assist guy, averaging about, every time I look up there, it's like 10, 11 assists. So him putting the extra work in is definitely showing.
Things are going so well right now, and Zion seems to be coming back at the right time. How well do you feel like you're fitting in New Orleans overall?
Oh, from the love and the support of the fans, I feel really good here. The coaches and the organization have brought me in with a warm welcome and just letting me be myself. From basketball standpoint, from me just coming in here and wearing my do-rags and everything, they just embraced me, and I'm liking it playing here.
Look, this guy deserves to be in Chicago for the All-Star game. It's been quite a season in New Orleans for Ingram so far. He's playing about as many minutes per game as he did in LA last season, but his stats are up across the board, and he's averaging more than 7 points more per game. We welcome you guys back onto the court. Cassidy Hubbarth and Kendrick Perkins, and the knower of all.
Yeah. My
boy, NBA
That's my
insider,
boy,
Adrian Wojnarowski.
Always overdressed
no,
on
you
hoop
aren't.
streams.
No, you're not.
I always feel overdressed on hoop streams.
You're perfect.
You're Woj, man.
Look, Woj.
And if somebody got a problem with it, tell them I'll let you boy.
I need an enforcer.
Yes.
I need an enforcer.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go there? Woj, look, the trade deadline is fast approaching, February 6th. Let's first talk about some of these guys that we're going to see tonight. Are there any discussions around, say, a Drew Holiday, or for the Spurs, Marcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan?
Let's start on the Pelicans side, because that's a little bit easier right now. Right. They are not engaging teams right now. With Zion coming back, with the playoffs within sight, 3 games plus back of that 8th seed, they want to see what this team looks like with Zion. When they put it together in the summer, David Griffin, I think he thought they had a team that could compete for the postseason. It says something about how different the West is, that you could lose 13 straight games in the Western Conference and still think you have a chance at the playoffs. But this isn't one of those years where you need 47, 48 wins for the 8th seed. So there are a lot of teams who would love to get Drew Holiday. There's tremendous interest in him. I know one team who called the other day about him. They were told, hey, we've got 8 games until the trade deadline. We want to see what we are. And Holiday has multiple years left on his deal. There's no reason or rush to have to move him. I think they're going to play through with this group, see what it looks like with Zion here between now and at least the deadline.
Well, and look, the Pelicans, they have something to work out, but they're in a similar position as far as standings-wise as the Spurs are, but they're not as far as like team building is concerned. The rosters and the excitement. Yeah. So what about the Spurs? Is there any interest or discussion around their key players?
I think the Spurs are open to listening on everybody. They have to. They're at a point in their kind of the way they're, circling down with this group. They've got to look at, starting a real rebuild, but they still have a chance to get in the playoffs. the way the Spurs are approaching this is they're not giving any of these guys away. If somebody comes at them, they can get a really good first-round pick or more than just, a late first or a first that turns into 2 seconds. I think like on a DeRozan, a LaMarcus Aldridge. Remember, DeRozan's going to be a free agent this summer. He can opt out of his deal. But there aren't necessarily teams with cap space that make sense for a veteran player like him. The teams with salary cap space this summer, Cleveland, Atlanta, Memphis, young rebuilding teams.
Right.
So you have the ability to do a sign and trade. Oklahoma City's in the same position with like Gallinari, where you can do a sign and trade, work a deal, get a guy, his contract and money somewhere else, and then you get something in return. So there isn't the race here to trade somebody at the deadline out of fear you're going to lose them for nothing in July.
What about some other big names like Kyle Kuzma that's been out there? What are the discussions around him?
Kuzma's really hard to trade for this reason. He only makes $2 million a year. He's on his rookie contract. And so to trade for, you would assume if you're trading Kuzma, you're trading for an established veteran player because the Lakers are in a win now mode. Well, what does that player make? 12 million, 15 million, 18 million? Now you've got to stack contracts up to make it work. How much of your depth are you going to trade with Kyle Kuzma to make a deal work? So I think for any Kuzma potential deal, it complicates it because he just doesn't make enough salary yet. So I think that makes any Kuzma deal really hard to make. Not impossible, but harder.
A big change we've seen in the league is how much attention transactions get. And a lot of people like to go on Twitter and throw out their hypotheticals. Like our guy Perk. You got a little carried away recently with some, I'm going to say it.
What you mean, Kev?
With a couple, this is a game you like to play with your Twitter followers, called Who Says No. Here's an example of one
Who says no? Everybody.
Wait.
hold on,
Actually, hey, is there anyone talking about Kendrick Perkins to pick him up?
Who says no?
Oh,
I think everybody says no.
Dang, I thought he was your boy.
Nah, but Woj gonna keep it real with me. See, that's the thing. That's why he my boy, you my sis. Y'all gonna keep it 100, whether I like it or not. That's why I mess with y'all. Look at that.
You can't say when you hit.
I'm just saying, I was getting. There you go.
You know what? I was filming you for my IG story, and I had to turn it off because I could only get that one make. I'm sorry. No, but let's get into your tweets that you sent out.
Pull them up.
Your first trade that you sent out was Steven Adams for Andre Drummond. Who says no? Woj?
They both say no.
Whoa.
All right, so Steven Adams, under contract, like a rebuilding team in Detroit isn't looking to take on more long-term money. They want to get a first-round pick for Drummond, and they want to start getting contracts off. That's a tough exchange.
Okay.
That would be my case. Detroit's not looking to take on players with max contracts who have years ahead. Years. And anybody who trades for Drummond knows they got to sign him to a long extension this summer. They can lose him for nothing.
Well, I mean, hey, you teaching me, Woj. Look, it's just my game.
All right,
I want you to come on Twitter and
but what was your reasoning?
Because my reason behind it, right, was that I'm listening to all the names out there that people are talking about trading. They're talking about trading Steven Adams. They're talking about trading Andre Drummond, right? So I'm like, okay, OKC in a pretty good position, which I picked them to make the playoffs right now. I was like, take a gamble.
But then this summer, you're going to have to pay him $100 million plus.
But see, me, Woj, I don't look to the summer. I was talking about right now. I look for this season.
You also said Mike Conley for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, and look, let me tell you what, real quick for Woj get on me about it. So Houston having problems, right? I live in Houston. They saying that Russ is the problem. I don't believe that.
Russ has played well the last stretch.
He has, but
you could argue he's been the best player in this last week or so.
They lost 4 games, right? And all of a sudden, because they're not going to blame it on James, so I'm like, hey, man, my Brody don't deserve this. What team could he go to right now? So I said, you know what? Mike Conley, he hasn't been playing. I mean, he really has been stinking it up.
But Utah would have to do that.
See, here's the problem. Perk is in Texas right now with the top-rated 7-year-old AAU player in the state of Texas, Stone Perkins. So Perk is used to a world where if an AAU team wants you, they come get Stone Perkins. They call up Perk. We got a new team for him to play on. Come travel with us. Houston can't call the Jazz up and take the guy they want for the Jazz. It's not travel basketball.
I understand.
They have to
that.
agree to a trade.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, Woj, is that Conley hasn't been the best fit for Utah. And I think Utah is scratching the surface, actually sneaking up and might be able to, might sneak up because they my dark horse contender. And I think in order for them to win the championship, you need a superstar. Russell Westbrook over there in Utah, to me, wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay.
You got to run that one by Russ?
Right,
Russ
exactly.
No,
the last time I was in Utah.
He reads my tweets.
Russ, okay.
All right, we got a band behind us. We're going to say goodbye to you, Woj. Otherwise, we'll be screaming over.
Well, yeah, I want Woj to kill me because Cassidy. You know Woj put me on, right? So this is my
Woj
guy.
puts everybody on.
Me and Woj go back like 4 flats on the Cadillac.
Speaking of love, you know they say if you love New Orleans, it will love you back. Well, this city is ready to love them some Zion Williamson. Take a look.
Yeah, Bellman's coming right up to that.
All right, dang. Oh my God. Zion, welcome to the family. Let's dance. I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna make that like global. Wow, passing the torch. I'm ready to take that on. City of New Orleans.
With the first pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson, Duke University.
Zion, I think you'd be the greatest player ever, especially coming to New Orleans. I think you could do some great things. You remind me of Shaq dominance, running up the floor.
Oh, what a play!
Well, Zion, you sort of remind me of Blake Griffin in terms of just the explosion, the power. Physicality, of course, is sort of dominant, which you don't normally see in today's game.
Thank you, Drew Brees. It's a nice gift. Sheesh.
I sent you that jersey because I believe that you can be a great leader in this community. And I was always told when I came to New Orleans that if you love New Orleans, it'll love you back.
Drew Brees is always thinking about New Orleans, the championship that he brought to the city. Sort of almost like similarly giving you a torch. I wouldn't say passing it down, but just giving you the torch to say, hey, when you light a fire into the city just loves it. It turns up. It's a lituation.
Zion, to tell you, New Orleans is a special place. I've traveled all over the world and I've never experienced any other city like that. The people are great. Everyone loves each other. The music is fantastic. The food is great.
New Orleans is different than any place you've probably ever been. It is on its own time schedule. It's relaxed, it's casual, it's fun. There's a reason it's called the Big Easy.
The best prospect that we've seen since LeBron. I mean, what's not to be happy about?
Is there anything that you'd like to say to your new team and family in New Orleans?
Let's dance.
When you say let's dance, that means to me let's get the party started and we're going all the way to the end. And that's what we do in New Orleans. You can catch people outside dancing with no music sometimes. That's how important dancing is. So I'm ready to dance with you. Let's make it happen.
You know what Let's Dance means. We're here for every game. We're here for playoffs. We're here to win, the same mentality we have on the football field. We're here to win the big dance. You know what we're talking about. We're talking about the championship.
There it is. Ball throws it up. Williamson lays it down.
You have an incredible opportunity to be a part of the beginning of something great and creating the foundation by which you can have a long, successful career here.
Williamson inside and lays it up and in.
We have this great city to represent no matter where we go and play. That's me in Europe, or that's you somewhere in New York. When you wear that Pelicans jersey, you're representing more than just basketball. It's a city of love, heart, and soul.
The city is looking for that electricity that you brought to Duke, the electricity you brought out of high school. It's that passion and that love that you have for the game that shows each and every time you take court.
Robinson tapped it out to Knox. Zion rips it.
Expectations of you to be a legendary Hall of Famer that likes we've never seen before. Too much pressure? All right, cool. When you bring a title to the city will love you back like you've never heard of.
You're watching Hoop Streams live on Twitter, YouTube, and the ESPN app. We are 30 minutes from tip. It is lit in here. If you're on the ESPN app, go on and sign in right now so you can watch the game right after our show. Lonzo Ball warming up right now for the Pels, and it's a wild night. It is a wild night here in NOLA. So speaking of Lonzo, we just saw him warming up a little bit. Our guy Omar got to talk to the guy yesterday, and how did that go?
It went really well. He was able to kind of break down some of his best moments. He talked to LaMelo Ball. He said LaMelo's going to be the first overall pick.
Oh, okay.
And then he also broke down him and Zion. They've already had some moments in the preseason and in practice. You've seen the half-court lobs. So I think what we're going to see in transition, Lonzo's always going to be looking out for him. But let's check out the tape. All right, Lonzo, last time I saw you, we went through all your highlights. This time, I have some highlights from LaMelo that I want you to kind of look at and break down for me.
All right.
What's the most underrated part of his game that you've seen?
I mean, I've seen him since he was a baby, so I know his whole game. I would say probably the way he sees the court.
Because it was funny because we all remember, because we've all kind of seen you guys grow up, there was a point where LaMelo couldn't dunk, and it was a big deal when he first dunked in that gym.
Yeah.
And now he's dunking on people in Australia. What's it like?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's a late bloomer. He's been dunking now for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
He's 18 now. I think he had his first dunk at 17, which is pretty late.
And you said he was better than you when you guys were at the same age.
Yeah,
you were.
for sure. He was more advanced, for sure.
Do you think he can become a better player than you? I don't want to make it a competition, but he can.
I think in like real time, I don't ever think he'll be better than me.
Yeah.
But at the same age, like when I was 20, he was 20, I think he's better.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
What's your favorite highlight of his in Australia that you've seen? Because he's had a lot of cool moments, game winners, dunks, crossovers. What's your favorite moment?
I like this shot a lot.
Yeah?
Sent it to overtime.
And
they won that game too.
Yeah.
So that's definitely up there. The double behind the back was crazy. I wish the dude would have finished the dunk.
Me
but
too.
Yeah, he failed twice.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest play, probably, for sure.
Do you think he can become the #1 overall pick?
For sure, easily. I think he's the most talented player in the draft.
Is there a team that you would like to see him on, other than the Pelicans?
I was about to say, he can come over here.
Yeah.
We'll take him. I think any team that gets him is going to have a great kid that's going to work hard.
Well, now we've got some of your highlights. And I want to ask, you dunked on your teammate.
I didn't mean to do that.
At what point did you know you were going to dunk on him, though?
I didn't even know that was him. I seen nobody box me out, so I just went for it. This one, my ankle started feeling better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the first big play I had all year.
Did you feel bad at all? You put him on a poster.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't feel bad. I was trying to win the game. We needed those 2 points.
Also, you had a moment with Patrick Beverley recently where you kind of told him he was too small after hitting the bucket. Have you guys had always like a little, like, does it feel good because he's always talking to his shot over him?
I mean, I was just in the moment, honestly.
Yeah.
I felt good, that first quarter. I still remember what he did my rookie year, obviously, my first game ever. So, it was nice to hit that shot.
Now, today is the debut of Zion Williamson. You've thrown him a lot of lobs. How much fun has that been?
I mean, I haven't thrown him a lob in a minute.
A few. There's one in practice
this
right
is
here.
in preseason. I remember this.
Yeah.
So
and
definitely
this
gonna
one's
be
really nice too.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking forward to having him on the break with me. Hopefully, we can put some highlights together.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it.
I know there's gonna be a lot more highlights at the end of this season. So at the end of the season, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do this again. All right?
Say less. Bet.
Appreciate
all right,
it.
yo.
Thank you.
Check out Lonzo's stats over the past 3 weeks. In his first 26 games of the season, Lonzo averaged 10.8 points per game, 5.3 assists per game, and 5.1 rebounds. But once the calendar flipped to January, he has upped his game averages to 15.2 points per game, 8.8 assists per game, and 7.5 rebounds per game. That is in the last 10 games. That's a baller. That's a baller right there.
Playing really well.
That conversation was good.
Yes, he was great. He was very articulate about trying to be a little bit more consistent. He talked about how he wants to be better, how the improvements he's made since he's a rookie.
Yeah.
I think he's starting to figure it out. He's getting more comfortable in New Orleans. He has a chef now, he said.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it pans out over the rest of the season.
We'll see what happens. What we really want to see tonight, though, is Zion Williamson.
Yes.
And I know, Chiney, you want to break down his film a little bit. Let's get into the X's and O's.
I do want to break it down, but first I want to give Miss Cynthia some love. How long have you been a season ticket holder?
10 years.
10 years. She's been a day one. Are you excited for Zion?
I am so excited, Zion. I want to have
Let's dance. Let's dance. I'm here to tell you why everyone's so excited. Zion Williamson is an athlete, but a lot of people forget that he's extremely skilled. So let's run that DJ, play that track. Here's the illustration. Zion's a force to be reckoned with. We talk a lot about his athleticism, but let's also talk about his skill level, his ball handling. Here he uses the in and out move. You guys see the in and out move?
Yeah.
He gets his defender going one way, he pulls back, and then has a nice little jelly, a little fillet, a little finish at the rim. You see the in and out move? This is ball handling. This is skill. This is skill. Again, same game versus the Bulls. This time, what is the move you guys see? It's behind the back.
Yes.
Behind the back, Zion Williamson. He uses a pump fake to get his defense going one way. Then, there it goes. You're out of position. You're out of your stance. And then he sets you up going one way, hits you with the behind the back. Ooh, oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Like, ooh,
sheesh. His handle is so underrated.
And then the finish, he always somehow finds a way to get back to his left. Footwork is crazy. 4 defenders around him. Ball handling. We talked about the in and out move. Now we're talking about the behind the back move. But this is my favorite part, y'all. Where do we see this before?
It's just bully ball.
Sorry to this man. Sorry. Zion Williamson. I mean, when you think about his strength, it's ridiculous. But these are the plays that you don't even plan for. When you have him screaming like that, it's gonna be a problem. And his opponent,
the dude in the back is like, yo.
Again, this is what we know. We always talk about the athleticism, the energy that he provides. That's what we're expecting tonight. Look at that reach. Like, look at that.
But why
cutback.
jump? Why jump as a defender?
Honestly, run the other way.
Yeah.
We know he can contact. He can score through the finish in the paint. Once he knows how strong he is, and I think he knows he's the strongest man on the court,
you talking about
he's going to be successful.
You talk about his strength. He's also, he's one of the, look at his weight right now, right? If you look at these other guys, they're all 7 foot or above. Zion is only 6'6". How much does his weight play into his strength?
So Zion is unique because he has a really different physique, and I know a lot of people have talked about his body and his athleticism and stuff like that. He's still a young man. He's 19 years old. Don't y'all remember when you're 19, you got some things to work on, you know what I mean? We didn't grow up all the way. So to me, I think we put a lot of pressure on him, but naturally you will see that athleticism. Keep an eye out for his skill. Again, in preseason, 71% from the field goal percentage, 23 points per game. This guy is in uncharted waters as a talented rookie. Let's take the pressure off and also respect this man for his skill as well.
Respect this man. Respect him for his skill. And the thing that's crazy is going into the season, it was all about Zion. He was the rookie that we all had our eye on. But there's actually been a lot of breakout rookies doing a lot of things in the league. Hold on. Okay. Okay. So let's take a look at what some other rookies have been able to do this season.
Pelicans select Zion Williamson. Grizzlies select Ja Morant. Knicks select R.J. Barrett.
Man, this rookie class. Perk and I back on the court. Wait, quickly, just want to tell you guys, it is a close game right now between the Sixers and Raptors. Raptors are up 88-82. Flip that onto the TV. You can watch us on your phone or any kind of device. I mean,
hey, forget that game, man. We right here.
No. Watch that game. It's on ESPN.
We're not watch that game,
and then
watch that game.
You know, Pelicans and Spurs is going to be on after
Toronto,
that.
my pick coming out the East now. Watch.
You know who has also been must-see TV?
Who?
Ja Morant. He's currently the favorite in the Rookie of the Year race.
As he should be.
But you know what? Zion Williamson is surprisingly has the 4th best odds to still win Rookie of the Year. And that's before he's even played a game. But let's talk a little more about Ja. What's impressed you about him?
Everything. First of all, like I said before, Cass, this kid is a mixture of a Rajon Rondo, Russell Westbrook, and Kyrie Irving all in one.
Perk.
It is, because he got a very high IQ. He can pass the ball. He got that ball on the string, Hezo, handles, all that and above. And then on top of that, his athleticism is through the roof. But I'm looking at this guy, and I'm more impressed with his leadership at this age. Like, he's on the court, he's talking guys out through their defensive assignments and stuff like that. And you just don't find a guy like that. And I'm very, very impressed with Ja Morant.
So let me put this question to you that you posed to David Griffin. If you had to redraft,
right,
who are you taking first, Zion or Ja Morant? Now, I know it's not fair since Zion hasn't played a game, but look, we still have intel as far as, you know, he was hurt again. He's had some history. He is a box office guy. Who are you picking between those two right now?
I mean, look around, Cavs. This building is filling up. It's going to be sold out, standing room only. Our network, ESPN, canceled the game to come here to New Orleans to bring in Zion.
Switched on to it as a national televised game. Yep.
So at the end of the day, I got to roll with Zion. This guy's box office. I would pay my hard-earned money to bring my kids. I don't care if he give me 3 highlights a game. You got to watch this kid. You got to draft him #1. There's no way.
Okay, well, look, there's 38 games left, okay?
Okay.
The Pelicans are they're on the cusp of the playoff contention. Do you feel like if Zion can give them an additional boost, he can skyrocket to the top of the Rookie of the Year race with only 38 games left in the regular season?
If Zion come in, and this is all he have to average, if he averaged 16 points and 10 rebounds, and the Pelicans get in, then all of a sudden it's a different conversation about Rookie of the Year.
But the Grizzlies are already a playoff team.
It don't matter. They're not only about 1 or 2 games. This Pelican team, to me, is better than the Grizzly team.
And so there's a lot of argument that if you know, with MVP, like Kevin Durant couldn't win MVP with the Warriors because he had a lot of help.
Right.
See, this Pelicans team, to your point, is stacked compared to Ja Morant, who's really leading that team with Jaren Jackson.
But hold on. But that Memphis team is really stacked too. We just don't talk about the other guys. Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jay Crowder, the Clark kid. Like, they are really deep too. So
yeah, but that's those aren't like all-stars. You got a Brandon Ingram who's an all-star. You got a Drew Holiday
he's an all-star. But they
are expected to be.
They are. The Pelicans are 3 games behind. So if Zion come and give them that extra boost, hey, I mean,
we got the Pelican behind us doing tricks, as you can see. I think he just hit a half-court shot.
Both of these kids are unbelievable.
Yes. Is there anyone else that should be in the mix, like a Kendrick Nunn?
Kendrick Nunn for sure. After what he did the other night when Jimmy Butler sat out, he went out right now. I thought Tyler Hero was going to be that guy, but his story speaks volumes. Listen, they had 29 teams when this guy came out of college that said this kid wasn't going to be an NBA player. Here it is, old Pat Riley and the Miami Heat take a chance. And by the way, he put a guy by the name of Dragic on the bench.
Yeah. Yep.
So that speaks volumes.
Well, look, whatever happens with the end of the year awards, this is the most anticipated start to a rookie season that we've seen since LeBron James, with Zion Williamson making his NBA debut tonight. And it's been a long time in the making. And let's look at exactly how we got to this point with the phenomenon that is Zion. From 2014 to 2018, Zion attended Spartanburg High School in South Carolina, where his dunks and crazy athleticism took the internet by storm. Then our guy Zion announced he'd continue to fly high at Duke with fellow future lottery picks RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, where they were must-see TV, and now he's finally taken his talents to the NBA and the New Orleans Pelicans. Tonight he'll make his regular season debut, and we can finally say that Zion, the internet star, is back. And with so much hype around him for about half a decade now, let's hear in his own words what he has to say about his NBA debut.
People beg to go hang out with their friends. Me, I'd go wake my stepdad up at 5:30 in the morning because I just love playing with the basketball. I said, oh, I can have this for a job? My stepfather explained that's a very exclusive job to get. I told myself, if I work hard, I can do it. I got letters from 40+ schools. I was thinking, dang, I'm gonna really have to pick one school. I will be joining the Brotherhood of Duke University. I want to make my presence known to the world.
Tripped away by Williamson. And here comes the big man.
It's poetry in motion. It felt like I was floating forever. This place went crazy.
And Purdue Blue Devils are champions of the ACC basketball tournament for 2019.
I will pursue my next dream and declare for the 2019 NBA draft.
He is a completely different phenomenon. The face of basketball right now.
This is the life that I wanted ever since I was 4 years old. I'm loving it.
The #1 pick goes to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Zion Williamson here, and I just landed in New York. I'm very excited to be here, and I can't wait for Thursday night.
I can tell you what it feels like. I got a feeling this is unforgettable.
With the first pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson.
I dreamed about this since I was 4, and for it to actually happen, my dream came true.
One of the most highly anticipated debuts.
Just try to get the win and just have fun. I work hard for this, and I'm gonna show I belong out here. That's that. I don't really think it's pressure playing the game I love.
Zion stays for the hammer.
Breaking news, just 4 days before Zion's NBA career was scheduled to start, Zion will miss a period of weeks because of a right knee injury.
It was just after the San Antonio game, felt some soreness, and when it got checked out, it hurt at first, but I'm not out forever.
Zion Williamson participated in his first full practice with the Pelicans.
Being back out there on the court was a great experience. I'm glad I was back out there.
Our anticipation is he'll play his first game on the 22nd at home against San Antonio.
Come back stronger, come back better, so I can help my team. I'm ready. Yeah, let me go.
You are watching Hoop Streams live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and the ESPN app. If you are watching on the app, make sure you sign in with your television provider so that you can watch this game after. Also, the 76ers and the Raptors playing right now. You can catch that game before you watch Zion's debut. And we've got some friends in the building. Cassidy and Burke are on their way up here, but I wanted to ask you, because before Zion went to Duke, he said he was determined to be more than a highlight reel, but the kid is a highlight reel. So how much is his impact on the coming back into the NBA going to make that continue?
Oh, it's been huge, though. I was very lucky. I got sent the first Zion Williamson high school video when he was 16 years old.
Wait, does that mean you put him on?
I don't know. I'm not taking the credit for that because he's amazing. But I will say I was the first one to blow him up, right? So we post the first video. Then after that, his entire high school sends us video after video after video of Zion doing pregame dunks. And what's been cool to see about Zion is that when you would post some of the videos after the third or fourth one, people would say, we get it, he's a really good dunker. He's not going to be good in college. He's not going to be good in the NBA. So he starts playing better high schools. He keeps winning. He wins a championship. Then he goes to college. He plays in Duke. He does really well at Duke. But even when he was at Duke, in the beginning, there was a lot of haters saying that he wasn't going to be the #1 overall pick. Now he's in the NBA. He's the #1 overall pick. There's still people doubting that, oh, he's too big, he can't be that good, and he's going to prove them wrong once again. I've seen it twice now. Don't be the person that bets against Zion Williamson.
Don't be that guy. Don't
you know what I like to hear? This whole thing reminds me of started from the bottom over here.
Hey.
What up?
Hey, we got some friends. We got some friends joining us. Burke and Cassidy up here. What up, y'all? What up, y'all? What up, y'all? So, I mean, how was the excitement down on the court? Because we were lit up here.
Yes, I can see. I can see, and the crowd was excited to see you, Burke. As you said, you loved your time here in New Orleans.
In New Orleans, they know how to treat you, baby.
Hey, baby. Hey, so we're seeing Zion on the court warming up. When we saw him earlier getting his individual workout, what stood out to you about his demeanor?
Well, first of all, I always watch a rookie when he comes onto the court. This guy didn't feel phased at all. His poise was unreal. He was acting like a seasoned vet, like this moment not too big for him. I'm like, dude, do you not understand? Like, everybody in the world watching you tonight, like, I don't know. I would have been out there sweating before I hit the court, like, you know, dabbing everybody up. He was like, nah, it's all business.
No, but did you see it? When he walked into the arena, he was dabbing up all the security and everything. This guy gets it. I feel like it was pretty cool.
He got box office written all over him. I'm jealous.
And look, guys, you can watch a Zion cam on ESPN3 if you can't get enough of Zion Williamson. We got you covered.
Hey, Cass, I was laughing because you were a little petty. You're a little shady.
What did I say?
Talking about Perk's numbers as a rookie. That's his debut.
You know, this is my family. But it's just factual.
It was facts. Now
but he is a champ. Okay?
That's true.
He's got everybody in this building, well, except for some of the Spurs. Trying to beat. That's all, you know? So, no disrespect, Perk.
No, I know. Look, you know what?
The people love Perk.
I was never in the
people
league.
want Perk.
Hey, but you know what's crazy? Is that when my rookie season, I already know the coach was like, you know what, Perk, after these first 5 games, you going on the IR list. That means a mandatory 10 games. So I was like, shoot, I ain't feeling that. Any minutes I got, I didn't care if it was 2 minutes, 28 seconds, I'm out there balling. 7 points in 5 minutes. I told Cass, that's what I was doing. You don't go to the University of Cash not getting buckets.
So what are we gonna see out of what do you think we're gonna see out of Zion tonight?
I think we have to temper our expectations until he's on the open court. Ooh. And you know he's going to throw something down because there's a reason why we are all here today.
Yes.
And I think we have to be realistic. This guy is 19 years old. He's a young guy. But at the same time, he has crazy talents. I think his teammates will have his back. You might see some jitters early. But, y'all, let's be real here. In preseason, this guy was in uncharted waters.
Yes.
70% from the field, 23 points per game. If he's fully healthy and 100% to go, which he is, I expect a big night. I expect a big night.
Do you expect him to be able to do that much for the Pelicans going throughout the rest of the season? Is he going to be able to do that much?
He's going to be great, in my opinion. Like, he's never let us down. We've talked about it. High school, college, and even in the preseason and in Summer League, he's ripping
balling.
the ball from Kevin Knox and then dunking it. Like, he's always been box office. He's always lived up to the hype.
You know what's crazy, though, y'all? This Pelicans team is 4 games out of the 8th spot. Yep. And if you look at some of the teams in the 7 and 8 spot, it's like, okay, you could have a stretch
included.
Thank you. You can have a stretch where you lose a couple and they win a couple, and then they're a little bit more comfortable. In my opinion, Zion can actually push them into the playoffs. And you think about the last, they went on a 13-game losing streak, then they responded by going to, 11 to 16 wins. This is a team that's hot.
Look, speaking of comfortable, the difference you see in Lonzo Ball and his comfort level with the shot. I know him and Brandon Ingram have been working a lot with Coach Fred Vinson. They're the first people in the gym before practice and the last people after practice. And Lonzo said that Coach Vinson came up to him right as the season started and he was like, I can fix this.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Yeah.
And from my experience with both Lonzo and Brandon, their confidence has changed dramatically.
All-star? Is Brandon Ingram an all-star?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well,
Do you agree?
Yes, Brandon Ingram is an all-star.
I don't think he's going to be voted in as an all-star starter, so it's going to be up to the coaches.
Yes.
And I think the coaches will look at what he's done and the season that he's been putting together for.
Better.
I'm just saying.
If they don't vote him in, they hate. They hate. But you know what else is crazy about? I was talking to one of the assistant GMs about Brandon Ingram, and they was like, bro, I need you to talk to him. He's in the gym at midnight on off days getting shots up.
Yes.
He's doing too much?
But the crazy thing about it was that Rondo and LeBron James told me last year, they was like, hey, B.I. is that dude. He just need his own team. And I was like, he's better than Kuzma? And he was like, yeah, man, he's that dude. And
well, what do you think of the comparison to, I'm sorry I got to bring him up.
What are you going to do?
To Kevin Durant.
Yeah, there we go.
Look, you know, we don't put the beef aside or whatever it is. Let's talk about the comparison to the players.
I think it's fair because Kevin Durant at that age, at the age of 22, he was just like this guy, B.I., just getting buckets. Kevin Durant didn't develop a full game for us playing on the defensive end until I got there and had to show him the ropes as he got older.
Say that with your chest.
Yeah, as he got older.
Yeah.
But nah, I'm serious though. He's not as smooth as KD because KD is arguably
one of the greatest players.
No, he's arguably, he is the best scorer in NBA history. He has 0 flaws in his game. He can shoot the mid-range, tray ball. I'm not going to go on about KD, but he is the best scorer that this game has seen.
So my favorite thing about KD and B.I. is like it always reminds me of that gif of Spider-Man looking at Spider-Man. You know what I mean? And to me, it's like that expectation that they should be on the same level. But sometimes, this Perk, it takes people a while to glow up in the league, right? Like some people catch on year 3, year 4. Some people like Zion will probably get game 1 going, right? So I think you have to let people go on their own timelines. But regardless, we're talking about confidence cast between B.I. and Lonzo. You are who you surround yourself with, right?
Yeah.
And Zion's surrounded with young, hungry players, and I think that they won't let him down.
And with chips on their shoulder.
Right.
Lonzo and Josh Hart and Brandon Ingram, they got traded in a new spot.
Real quick, I think the best thing that happened for Lonzo and B.I. was that they got from L.A. being here in New Orleans, now they be able to focus and work on them games because you know them LA lights, them big city lights, they'll swallow you up big time.
So again, we're watching Zion Williamson warm up as we're getting set for the Spurs and Pelicans. Zion's NBA debut coming at you 9:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. If you're watching us right now on the app, log in to your cable provider to watch the game on the app. But also, make sure you're tuning in to the Sixers and Raptors game that's going on right now at ESPN. That's a close one as well. What you got to say, Chiney?
I have a question. I mean, we're watching him shoot threes. How many threes do you think he'll probably make tonight? 0.
I don't think he's going to shoot. He's not going to shoot a three today.
He made no threes in the preseason. That's what we saw.
No threes, but in Duke, he made about, 20? Do you guys think he'll knock down a 3? Do you think that's going to be the strategy?
According to Alvin Gentry, he says he wants him to dunk every single thing. And I know fans are going to want that.
That was 1-3.
All I want is a highlight dunk.
That's exactly right.
Exactly what I want. I just want him to dunk on somebody.
You're gonna get that.
Just embarrass somebody.
You're gonna get that.
That's all I care about.
Just give you an open court for Zion.
Him and Lonzo throwing a half-court alley-oop to Zion would be the best.
That'd be lit.
But in all seriousness, though, y'all, this guy is not nervous. I watched him warm up, and I was like, dude, do you know
ready.
how big this platform is that you on? And he's handling it. But like y'all said before, when you watched him at Duke his first game, he walked out there like, hey, I'm used to this. This is what I'm built for. You don't find that in young guys.
Yeah, that's true. We were talking earlier with David Griffin about how he's going to have to manage his size. And, you talked about, how size and your weight was something that you had to really, really focus on. He was discussing over this last couple months in the recovery, him having to change how he lands, how he walks. Is that something that you ever needed to focus on as you got older in your career and your body was changing?
Well, I didn't focus on the cast until I got hurt, right? I tore my ACL, and then all of a sudden that make you focus on the little things because when you're young, you don't think you could get hurt. You think you're invincible. So, as he get hurt as a professional and now the technology and the people that they surround them guys with, they teaching them how to land. But I tell you what, people have been questioning Zion and his weight, but this kid is at 8% body fat. That's pretty remarkable. I don't see what he need to change.
And I absolutely agree. What people fail to realize is that when you're in college, you guys remember in college, you only had one strength and conditioning coach, one trainer for your entire team. When you're in the pros, it takes a while for you to find your person, your personal strength and conditioning coach, your personal trainer, and he's going to have those resources.
Also travel is a lot different in the NBA. The game schedule is a lot different.
Yeah, so it's all about learning and managing, and we expected him to have it all figured out from game one, even though he did not play. But I think it's going to be a process, and I'm just really glad that we have the privilege to see him tonight because we didn't know we were going to have that, a couple weeks ago.
Well, I know he is a little sensitive about the criticism about his weight. I sat down with him before the season started, and I asked him if he tried any beignets, and he was like, "Nope, I haven't tried any beignets yet. I'm not going to try any beignets. They're not in my diet."
Yeah, totally had that last night. Guilty.
You can see him. They got a lot of rookies right now that have been playing well.
Absolutely. Hayes, I love the energy.
Hayes has been really stepping up his game, as you can see him.
And you saw in warmups, he was out there working.
Yes.
He was out there for a good 20, 30 minutes working.
Let me tell y'all something. When you under the watch of David Griffin, you're gonna work because he plays. I played for Griff. Griff used to have me get my body fat tested every week.
No, he did not.
And he know it wasn't going to change. It stayed the same. Perk, I need you to get your weight down. Griff, for what? To be a leader? I don't need to do that.
I'm good.
What's the ideal body fat? What is the body fat percentage that they want you to have?
Well, it all depends on who you are. Yeah. You look at a guy like Russell Westbrook, Rajon Rondo, these guys are 3%. But when you look at a guy who has a body frame, 8% is extremely hard to get to. The least body fat I ever had in my NBA career was 10%, and I struggled with that. So for him to be at 8% is beautiful.
And is it normal around 18 to 20?
Yeah, that's what I was when I came in.
All right, we got 20 seconds left till tip off, and so we're going to let you guys go. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you are using the ESPN app, make sure you sign in to your television provider so you can watch Zion Williamson's debut, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.